A pair of jeans costs $8 to make. Fabric, stitching, zipper, the whole thing. Some brands on this list charge you $250 for it. That markup isn't buying better denim. It's buying a logo and a celebrity who wore them twice. Here's who's doing it. Number 7. 7 for all mankind. The name alone is supposed to make you feel like you're getting something universal, something timeless. A pair of 7 for all mankind jeans will run you $150 to $250 depending on the cut, and the brand leans hard into its Los Angeles heritage story. Premium denim, California craftsmanship, the whole pitch. Here's what actually goes into that pair of jeans. The denim itself is typically a cotton polyester or cotton elastane blend sourced through commodity contracts. Nothing proprietary, nothing rare. Manufacturing moved away from Los Angeles years ago. Today, most production runs happen in factories across Mexico and Central America, where labor costs are kept tight and output is high. The landed cost on a standard pair sits somewhere between $15 and $25. That's a markup of roughly 8 to 10 times the production cost. What you're paying for is the ghost of a California story that no longer reflects how these jeans are made. The brand was acquired by Delta Galil, an Israeli apparel conglomerate, in 2016. Since then, the focus has shifted toward margin, not craft. The wash treatments and distressing that once justified the price are now applied to mid-grade denim through industrial processes that cost a few dollars per unit at most. The verdict: a heritage story sold long after the heritage disappeared. Number 6, Citizens of Humanity. Citizens of Humanity markets itself as the thoughtful choice in premium denim. The brand talks about sustainability, responsible sourcing, and producing jeans that last. And compared to some of the names on this list, the intentions aren't entirely hollow. But the price-to-product math still doesn't hold up the way the marketing wants you to believe. A standard pair retails between $200 and $280. The denim is better than fast fashion. We'll give them that. They do use some certified organic cotton blends and work with a smaller number of factories. But the actual production cost for a finished pair, factoring in fabric, trims, labor, and freight, typically falls in the $20 to $35 range. That's still a 6 to 8 times markup on a pair of jeans sold primarily through upscale boutiques and department stores, which add their own retail layer on top of the brand's wholesale margin. The sustainability story is real in parts. The markup is real in full. What you're buying is cleaner gilt, not a fundamentally different product. The denim wears like premium denim, but not $250 premium denim. That gap between what the brand says and what the math shows is where the money disappears. Number 5, G-Star Raw. G-Star Raw built its identity on raw denim culture. The Dutch brand came up in the late 80s and early 90s, pushing a utilitarian, almost industrial aesthetic. 3D denim construction, unconventional cuts, the idea that denim should be taken seriously as a design material. For a while, that story had substance behind it. Now, a pair of G-Star Raw jeans retails between $120 and $200. The raw denim aesthetic is still there in the branding, but the actual raw denim, untreated, unwashed, full-weight selvage, is largely absent from the product. Most lines use pre-wash, treated denim from standard mills in Asia. The construction is competent, but unremarkable. In 2016, Pharrell Williams came on as co-owner and creative director, which gave the brand a marketing jolt. But fashion partnerships don't change the fabric weight or the stitching count. They change the perception, and perception is what G-Star is charging you for. The landed cost on most G-Star pairs sits around $18 to $30. The rest of the retail price is the brand machine. The campaigns, the collaborations, the story of raw denim that's no longer particularly raw. The verdict: you're paying for an aesthetic, not for the execution of it. Number 4, Versace Jeans Couture. The word couture is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Versace Jeans Couture is not couture. It is not made in a Milanese atelier. It is a licensed diffusion line, which means Versace's parent company, Capri Holdings, has essentially sold the right to put the Medusa head on mid-tier denim manufactured through third-party contractors. A pair of Versace Jeans Couture retails anywhere from $250 to $450. The denim itself is standard weight cotton elastane cut and sewn in factories in Tunisia, Bangladesh, and Portugal. Quality control varies depending on the production run and the factory involved. What stays consistent is the logo hardware, the chain details, the embossed buttons, the Baroque print pocket lining, all of which cost a few dollars to add and add nothing to how the jeans actually fit, feel, or wear. Manufacturing cost on a typical pair, $20 to $40. Retail price, $300 to $400. The markup is operating on one assumption, that the Versace name is worth $260 of extra value on a pair of jeans. That assumption holds exactly as long as the brand stays culturally relevant. The moment it doesn't, you're left holding commodity denim with gold-toned buttons. The verdict: the logo is the product. The jeans are just the delivery mechanism. Number 3, DeSquared 2. DeSquared 2 is the brand for people who want their jeans to look expensive without anyone being able to explain exactly why. The Canadian brothers behind the label, Dean and Dan Caton, have built a following in the celebrity and nightlife world on the back of heavily distressed, embellished denim with price tags to match. A standard pair retails between $350 and $600. Some styles push past $700 with additional embellishments. The brand is headquartered in Milan, which lends a European luxury association, but the actual denim production is largely outsourced to contract factories in Italy and Portugal, and in more recent seasons to lower-cost facilities in Eastern Europe and North Africa. The distressing is the main cost driver beyond materials. Acid washing, hand sanding, ripping, patching, repairing, and bleaching all add labor hours. But those hours add $30 to $60 to a production cost that starts at around $25 to $40 for the base garment. Even at the high end of distressing costs, you're looking at an $80 to $100 landed cost on a pair that retails for $450. That's a 4 to 5 times markup, and the construction underneath the theatrics is not exceptional. The denim weight is mid-range. The stitching is clean but not notable. What you're actually buying is the aesthetic story, rock and roll, irreverent, Italian-ish luxury, and the social signal that comes with the logo on the back pocket. The verdict: the drama is real. The craftsmanship proportional to the price is not. Number 2, True Religion. True Religion gets its own number 2 slot on this list because its story is one of the most revealing in all of denim. At peak hype in the mid-2000s, a pair of True Religion jeans cost $250 to $300 at retail. The horseshoe logo on the back pocket became one of the most recognizable symbols of a status denim era. Celebrities wore them, athletes wore them. The super T stitching, a wide, high thread count stitch pattern, was sold as a craft hallmark. Here's what actually happened behind the scenes. True Religion jeans were manufactured in Los Angeles when the brand launched, which genuinely added to the cost structure. But as demand scaled and margins were squeezed, production migrated to factories in Mexico, Turkey, and India. The super T stitching stayed, but the domestic production story quietly disappeared. By the time the brand filed for bankruptcy in 2017 and again in 2020, the market had already delivered its verdict. Resale prices on the same jeans that once commanded $280 collapsed to $60 to $90, a drop of more than 70% from the original retail. That collapse wasn't about the jeans getting worse, it was about the logo losing its cultural currency, which is the whole point. True Religion's markup was never about denim quality. It was entirely about status signaling during a specific cultural moment. When that moment passed, the product had nothing left to stand on. The brand still operates today. Prices have been pulled back to $100 to $180 in an attempt to find a new market. But the story of True Religion is a clean demonstration of what happens when a brand charges for status rather than substance. The market eventually corrects, and the correction is brutal. The verdict: the most honest cautionary tale in premium denim. Number 1, Diesel. Diesel earns the top spot on this list because it does everything the other brands do, but with a more elaborate story wrapped around it. The brand was founded in Italy in 1978 by Renzo Rosso. For years, Diesel jeans were genuinely made in Italy and commanded a premium based partly on real craft. The for successful living campaigns, the irreverent advertising, the positioning against traditional luxury, it all built a brand with genuine cultural weight. Then scale happened. Today, a pair of Diesel jeans retails between $120 and $250 across their main line. Some premium treatments and limited editions push past $350. The Italian provenance story is still front and center in the marketing. The actual production reality is very different. The bulk of Diesel's manufacturing now happens in Tunisia and Turkey, with some Portugal production for the European market. Only a small subset of higher-end pieces are produced in Italy, and those are the exception, not the rule. The wash treatments, the distressing, the whiskering, the bleaching are the brand's main justification for the price premium. Diesel employs actual denim specialists who design these finishes, and the brand does invest more in this process than most. But even accounting for premium wash treatments, the all-in manufacturing cost on a standard Diesel pair lands between $20 and $45. The retail price is $180. That's a 4 to 8 times markup, sold on the back of an Italian heritage story that no longer describes where most of the jeans are made. The parent company, OTB Group, controlled by Renzo Rosso, also owns Maison Margiela, Marni, and Victor and Rolf. The group's strategy is luxury adjacency, keeping Diesel in the same cultural conversation as genuine luxury houses while maintaining the mass production cost structure of a mid-tier denim brand. It's an effective strategy. It's also one where the consumer pays for the association rather than the reality. The final detail that cements Diesel's #1 position: the brand ran a deliberate campaign in 2018 where it opened a pop-up in New York's Canal Street, famous for counterfeit goods, and sold authentic Diesel jeans labeled as fakes. The stunt was clever marketing, but read it another way and it's a brand openly acknowledging that the line between its authentic product and a knockoff is thin enough to be a joke. When a brand can turn that into a punchline and still charge $200 for jeans made in Tunisia, the marketing machine is operating at full power. The verdict: the most sophisticated brand story wrapped around the widest gap between narrative and reality. The bottom line: across all 7 of these brands, the pattern is the same. You are not paying for denim. You are not paying for construction. You are not paying for longevity. You are paying for the story the brand tells about Italy, about California, about heritage, about status, and the distance between that story and the actual product is where your money goes. That's not an accident. It's the model. The brands that actually deliver value in denim are the ones that show you their work, the ones that tell you what mill the fabric came from, what the thread count is, who sewed it, and where. Those brands exist. They're just quieter because they're spending money on the product instead of the campaign. The next time you pick up a pair of jeans with a name on the pocket, ask yourself what that name is actually worth, not what you've been told it's worth, what it's actually worth. Dress for yourself, not for the label.